Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and deleted storylines from Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania would have given us some further context to what exactly was happening in that probability storm, and would have trapped another Avenger in a multiversal crisis very similar to that of the Scarlet Witch.
Stop it!
Okay, sorry Wanda, nothing compares to you. Nothing compares! Spoiler warning ahead for Quantumania. Hope Van Dyne, or one of her probability storm doppelgangers, was going to have children, but this was removed from the film. Having a hypothetical life choice variant still working at Baskin-Robbins is one thing, but having one raising a family is a very different life path, several steps removed from where Hope has been in her life so far, with hauntingly deep implications for what exactly characters in a probability storm are going through and how connected this setting is to the actual multiverse in the Marvel Cinematic Universe going forward. A reminder to subscribe to our new channel, The Deep Dive, and the best way to support The Deep Dive is with some of our Deep Dive specific merch, like this Voss Deep Dive shirt, or this really warm beanie. All this stuff you can get at nerdriot.shop. So in the wake of Quantumania, as the discourse has begun to focus on the post-production process and the VFX work on the film, Vulture interviewed a few VFX workers who anonymously revealed that much of what we see in the latter third and fourth of the film was actually the result of a lot of scrambling. Much of these scenes had to be reworked with cutting scenes, rolling shots by moving a shot a few frames around in a cut, and just generally altering scenes to get it all done on time. So if things seem to be a little chaotic in the second half of this film, that would be why. Like I pointed out an example of this before, the scene where Kang explains to Janet Van Dyne his bitter history with the Kang dynasty while he projects the two timeline rings around the room. This scene cuts off abruptly in what seems like the middle of a conversation, as if we were going to cut back to it, but we never did. And there was a similar moment a few scenes earlier during the probability storm sequence. Now, if you can't tell from watching this channel, I love big blockbuster experiences, but since I don't live in a movie theater, I gotta find an easier way to get that same rush, and that's where Raid Shadow Legends comes in. I love how epic it feels every time I play. Raid is a AAA gaming experience that fits in your pocket, and if Valentine's Day got you in the mood for love, Raid's got that covered too. My top 3 Raid ships have got to be Rotos and Siphi, Seducer and Temptress, and Astralon and Countess Lix. I don't care if I can't see their eyes. I know they're burning with passion. Right now, new players can do the Raid Love Quest. Just download Raid using our link, copy your in-game player ID, and then enter it in at raidlovequest.plarium.com. Go before March 14th and play one of the Valentine's-themed mini-games for a chance to win some fantastic in-game and real-life prizes, including Valentine's Day-themed Raid champions, and even Amazon gift cards worth up to $1,000. If you're an old Raid player, you can still share the love too. Use the promo code SaintValentine23 to get a small Valentine's gift from us to you. And what we personally like, there's always a ton of cool events. There's Forge Pass Season 7 this month, and different events as part of the 3-month-long 4th anniversary Titan event, and more. If you haven't started playing Raid yet, click the link in the description or scan our QR code to get unique $35 worth of bonuses, including the free Epic Champion, Jotun, and several other useful stuff. All your rewards will be waiting for you right here. So thanks again to Raid for sponsoring this video. Scott scrambles alongside his 1,000 other possibilities and climbs atop them to reach the rings of the multiversal engine core, but falls. Meanwhile, Hope dives into that storm too, and there's a brief moment where she interacts with some of her possibilities. One says, "Get out of the way!" Another snaps at her, "What are you doing?" And our Hope radios back to Janet asking, Mom? And Janet radios back, "Don't look at them, they're just possibilities, they're not you." Which we have to pause here and ask, how does Janet know this? Janet, at some point in the past, must have tried to explore inside of this expanded core, got caught in her own probability storm, and it freaked her the out too. Now, in this scene, we don't really see Hope again until she swoops down to grab Scott, and both swarms of Scott and of Hope condense down into one of each. But based on Hope butting heads with her other possibilities, it definitely seemed like something more was going to come from this. And lo and behold, we just learned of a legitimate deleted scene from the sequence that would have given us more of Hope's variant life paths. An Instagram post by the mother of a child actor named Lucas Grant showed us a series of photos of this boy on set with Evangeline Lilly and Peyton Reed, the caption claiming that the storyline was changed and his scenes did not make it into the final version of the movie. The photos show Evangeline Lilly with longer hair, wearing domestic clothes alongside this boy and holding another girl on her hip. This is a blue screen set, and given what we know about Hope throughout this movie, the most likely place in Quantumania where this makes sense is inside of the probability storm. A glimpse of an alternate life of Hope Van Dyne, who knows, could have been an alternate ending now that it looks like Scott's timeline was changed. Maybe Hope ended up in a changed timeline as well with kids. Because this movie's first act makes a big point of showing Hope as a career-oriented woman woman, running the Hope Van Dyne Foundation, winning awards for her humanitarian efforts. With a new shorter haircut, this domestic Hope looks like a variant life path that Hope would have seen in the probability storm, the equivalent to Scott running into his Baskin-Robbins self. The big difference is the Scott that we know had previously worked at Baskin-Robbins in his current historical timeline, but Hope never had kids. This life path would have been a nexus point way further back in her life, and based on the age of these kids, they are old enough that Scott Lang could have been the father. And yes, this may remind you of Wanda Maximoff in the MCU, from WandaVision to Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, dreamwalking into other realities in which she is a mother to 2 kids. It's also what Kingpin experiences in the animated Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, building a collider device to connect with a universe where his wife Vanessa and his son are still alive. This deleted scene tells us that the filmmakers and Marvel Studios originally intended the probability storm to have much deeper implications for these characters' inner psychologies and for how the multiverse will function going forward. This is something I talked about in my deep dive into Everything Everywhere All at Once, which you should check out by subscribing to our other channel, The Deep Dive. That movie works so well by grounding the multiverse, which is really an abstract concept to a lot of people, grounding it inside of the wistful imagination of a single daydreamer. Life paths not taken. Something we all understand. Multiverse of Madness started to get into that with Wanda dreaming of Westview, but very quickly got away from it. The animated What If series did a great job exploring that in the episode 4 Doctor Strange episode. Now, the probability storm in Quantumania seems like a hypothetical thought experiment. The possibilities that Scott and Hope see reflected back to them in their mind's eyes, messing with their heads like Luke in the cave in Dagobah in The Empire Strikes Back. But the reason this phenomenon is happening is that they are inside of a broken multiversal engine core, a mysterious and unique piece of technology created by Kang that allows him to navigate all of space and time. For that to even be possible, this device must have some actual link to the baseline tapestry of the multiverse, a quantum state in which subatomic particles, like the cat in Schrodinger's box, can exist in multiple states at once. Bill Foster described this phenomenon in the 2018 Ant-Man the Wasp film.
The object in question would be both in and out of phase with multiple parallel realities.
So I don't think this is just in their heads. It definitely is, but it is also very, very real. And what we are seeing here in the probability storm is the quantum scientific description of what sorcerers call dreamwalking in the MCU. Incursions on a very small individual scale. Chaotic, messy, and extremely personal. And therefore, every time Kang uses this device to neurokinetically travel the multiverse, he is bypassing the mess of this process to pinball around the variant universes to the precise one he wants to go to. But that trip requires Kang to see every tragic alternate life path of his own and to somehow come out of that feeling nothing. Remember, Doctor Strange went through something similar in Avengers Infinity War, where he looked at 14,605 different futures. That is something Kang goes through every time he travels. So when Kang snaps at Janet, "You have no idea what I have lost." Could what he lost refer to similar families and children who call out to him for help the same way the Scarlet Witch's boys did to her in the WandaVision post-credit scene? Hey, another reminder to subscribe to our new channel, The Deep Dive, where I'm actually gonna have a deeper analysis of Quantumania coming Friday, February 24th. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Erik Voss, follow New Rockstars, and subscribe to New Rockstars for more analysis of everything you love. Thanks for watching, bye.